So fellas, the UFC 300 press conference just happened, and I'm going to be talking about my final thoughts for UFC 300, as this is going to be my last video before the card. And before we get into my predictions for what's going to, the performances of the night, I'm going to talk about the press conference. So we got announced that there's going to be a blue canvas, which is kind of random. Hopefully it goes hard. I did say in my how to improve UFC 300 video that having a colored canvas would improve it. So it's cool that we get a new canvas. Hopefully it doesn't look ugly. But the main thing I want to talk about is the 300k bonus that is given to every fighter. So Dana announced that in honor of UFC 300, he's going to give every single fighter that wins a free, or not every fighter that wins, but every fighter that gets a bonus, a 300k bonus. This is crazy. This isn't just giving money to the fighters, a 300k bonus. You do realize we're going to see every single fighter go out there. And most of the fighters are broke, let's be honest, it's UFC. They don't pay their fighters. Everyone's going to be bloodthirsty for a bonus. This is going to make the card 10 times better. As if it wasn't good before, every fighter is going to be going out there and putting an absolute war or knocking each other out, trying to get that 300k bonus. This is going to be crazy. And that's kind of just changed the entire card. So we're expecting this to be one of the best cards of all time. So yeah, that bonus is going to change everything. And I'm just so glad that Danny did it. W to that reporter, by the way. That reporter that requested that bonus, he single-handedly probably made this card 10 times better. I called Yuri versus Rakic a boring fight. You know what? That might even be interesting now. If Rakic wants the money, he might even make this an interesting fight. Also, I kind of want to change my pick to Davis and Figueiredo. Cody Garbrandt hinted to the fact that he wants to stand it. Well, no, he didn't say this. I'm kind of, twisting his words a bit. But he said he wants to get that 300k bonus and he wants to go for the knockout. And that's where I get a bit worried. Because if Cody Garbrandt stood there in the middle trying to trade and he gets caught by a mean hook by Davis and Figueiredo, even though I've been saying all week that I don't think Davis and Figueiredo has the capability to knock Garbrandt out because I think Garbrandt's too slick. If Garbrandt's going in there to trade, that's going to mess up everything. So hopefully that isn't the case and my prediction stays correct. But yeah, the press conference just wrapped. We didn't get an announcement though. I was expecting there to be an announcement. So I think at UFC 300 tomorrow, we're going to get an announcement. And I think it will be either Conor McGregor versus Michael Chandler, because Dana White has been posting clips of Conor McGregor on his Twitter all week. And why would he be doing that if, McGregor's not getting a fight announcement? Plus, he said in the past that McGregor's not fighting. So to randomly start posting promo of him, it, hints heavily to the fact that he could be fighting. So I think it could be McGregor versus Chandler for International Fight Week. It could be Islam Makhachev versus Dustin Poirier. Again, another fight that's been very heavily rumored to be taking place in June. So maybe that's the announcement, or maybe they're just going to wait for the lightweight fights at UFC 300, or it's going to be Dricus du Plessis versus Israel Adesanya. Again, that's been heavily rumored to be in Perth, or it's kind of been semi-announced. So maybe he's going to officially announce that at the UFC 300 tomorrow. But yeah, those are my predictions for the announcements that we're going to get. I reckon we're going to get a big announcement at the card tomorrow. Probably going to be after in the post-fight press conference, just like he did with UFC 298, where he announced Hill versus Pereira. But who do I think is going to get performance of the night, knockout of the night, all of that stuff? Starting off with fight of the night. Now, because there's a 300k bonus on the line, I think all the fighters are going to be going for the fight of the night bonus. But to be completely honest with you, I still think it's going to be Gaethje versus Holloway. This is going to be one of those fights that this has potential to be the greatest fight in UFC history. And I'm not just saying that, but you look at both of these guys, never taking a back foot. Oh, well, Holloway takes a back foot, but you know what I mean? They're both always there to scrap, always in a war, no matter the opponent. And when you put two opponents like that against each other, it's guaranteed going to be a banger. I can't wait for Holloway versus Gaethje. I think it's going to be a bloodbath. If these guys were born, a couple centuries before, they'd have been fighting in Colosseums to the death. So the fact that we get to see these guys on 300 is going to be crazy. And I think it will be the fight of the night. Ironically, I do think it's going to end in a doctor stoppage, because I feel like whenever you've got a BMF belt on the line, we saw it with Masvidal versus Diaz, where you put two people that just aren't going to quit in a fight together, it's got to be a banger. So I think Gaethje versus Holloway is going to be the fight of the night. It's going to be bloody. It's going to be brutal. And I think they're going to win fight of the night. I think Gaethje's going to get the bonus probably for that. Well, they're both going to get the bonus because it's fight of the night. Knockout of the night. Now, here's where it switches up a bit. Originally, and I'm kind of still sticking with this, I was gonna go Diego Lopez. I predicted him to knock out Sadiq Youssef in the prediction video. I think there's something special about this guy. Literally, he's a special guy, special-minded, but he's also a special fighter. And I just think that the fact that he's able to mix it up with his grappling, I think he's going to make it a really difficult fight for Sadiq Youssef, and he's going to get that knockout around round 3. But now that Dana White, like I said before, has announced this 300k bonus where every fighter gets, well, every bonus gets 300k, I reckon we're going to see a lot more knockouts on this card. So it's pretty much impossible to predict. But I'm still going to stick with Diego Lopez. I see him pulling off some random-ass finish against Sadiq Youssef. And I think Sadiq Youssef, he was technical before. And you saw that when Dana White told him that he's going to get that 300k bonus, his eyes were, he had star eyes. He was excited. And I think he's going to lose the technicality just a little bit. And I think Diego Lopez is going to catch him around round 2 or round 3. So I think Diego Lopez has the chance to get the knockout of the night. Performance of the night. I'm going with 2 fighters because it's hard to choose. The first fighter is Arman Tsarukyan. I really do think he's going to beat Charles Oliveira. If you saw my prediction video or even my round-by-round prediction, I just think that Arman Tsarukyan, being the wrestler that he is and the fact that he's so good on the feet and he's not a stupid fighter like Michael Chandler, I really do feel like he's got what it takes to beat Charles Oliveira. And if he beats Charles Oliveira in dominant fashion, without a doubt, I think we've got to give a guy like him performance of the night. Or it could be Alex Pereira. If Alex Pereira goes out there and schools Jamal Hill, and I know it's not that difficult to do if Jamal Hill's legs destroyed and he just keeps spamming the leg kicks. But if he actually goes out there and schools Jamal Hill just like Sean O'Malley schooled Marlon Vera, I think they're going to give him the performance of the night as well. Because, I mean, performance of the night. Because if he can do that to Jamal Hill, that's a massive statement-making performance. And then I've gone with the snooze fest of the night. I'm still going with Holly Holm versus Kayla Harrison. You know what? I don't even think it's going to be that boring. I know everyone's been hating on it, but it's UFC 300. Kayla Harrison seems like she's on it. There's a 300k bonus. I'm going to move this fight from a 3 out of 10 to a 4 out of 10. I think they're both going to be going for it a little bit more. But no, I still think it's going to be probably the worst fight on the card. I think the weight cut's going to be too much for Kayla Harrison. But listen, we're not here to complain. We're days away from the Super Bowl of the UFC, the greatest UFC card of all time. Fuck it. The greatest combat sports event of all time. I just can't wait, man. I just can't wait. This will be the last video you see me post before UFC 300. My next video will literally be a breakdown of the card. So my final thoughts on this card is that I cannot wait. I think it's going to go down as the greatest card in combat sports history. Definitely the greatest card in UFC history. And I'm not just glazing the UFC. I really do think it is, especially with the bonuses. W Reporter. The fights are amazing. We've got 12 current and former champions on this card. But yeah, I cannot wait. Let me know your thoughts on who's going to win each bonus, the performance, the knockout, all that stuff. Let me know your predictions, your final predictions for the card down below, and just let me know what you think. Let me know what you're expecting from the card. I think this is going to be a great card. Gonna go down in history as the best card of all time. And even though you might complain that there's not enough star power on the card, you might have wanted this fighter or that fighter. Let's just be grateful for once. Let's be grateful that we're actually getting a card that's stacked as UFC 300. Yeah, blue canvas is a bit random. I also said earlier, but yeah, UFC 300. I can't wait. Hopefully it's a banger of the card. And yeah, next time I see you guys, the card will be finished. So I'll talk to you after the pay-per-view. I'll do a breakdown. I'll probably do 2 breakdowns. I'll do a short breakdown after the card's finished, and then the day after, I'll do a much more in-depth breakdown. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on this fire card. I can't wait. Thank you for watching.